Birthday celebration for SteamTeam.
Thank you, but it isn't my birthday.
No, if you let me finish my sentence.
Oh.
This birthday celebration for SteamTeam Quizzes.
Yes, that's right. I wondered what all this food was for. But that's right, SteamTeam Quizzes has finally turned 1.
Yes, so today we'll be looking at how SteamTeam Quizzes came about. And we'll be hearing from, obviously, me and SteamTeam, our fans, and general other chit-chat about the show.
Yes, that's right. So shall we rewind to a simpler time?
2012?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I do believe that me and SteamTeam were in the middle of remaking one of his Trackmaster shows. And he came to me with the idea. And obviously, me being the caring and listening type, which I'm not. I listened to the idea, and I agreed. I wasn't too keen on it at first, but I did agree to give it a go.
SteamTeam Quizzes was an idea that I'd had for at least a year before I put it on YouTube, before the first episode came out. At least a year. It was one of 2 ideas I had, and I was sort of thinking of ways to do them, because at the time, obviously, Calico wasn't interested in Thomas, you know, and you know, I had no one to do it with. I was sort of looking at. I'd sort of made a short list in my head of people in the community that I thought I could do it with, such and such. Could see if they were interested, sort of thing. But you know, every time I thought it just won't work. You know, you need to be there with someone, I think. Otherwise, it'd just be so mechanical and boring. You know. A bit like how SteamTeam Quizzes did actually start off, to be honest. But
yeah, that's really how it came about. Obviously, I used to do a bit of voice work for his sort of Trackmaster and stuff like that. But then this kind of idea came about, so we kind of went on to this one, and yeah, that's kind of how it started, really.
But so he was kind of getting into the old voice acting sort of thing, and then he watched Blue Mountain Mystery, and I think that sort of turned him into I wouldn't say really a Thomas fan, because I mean even now I wouldn't even say he was a Thomas fan. He likes the community sort of atmosphere, and he likes sort of having fans. You know, he likes the fact that he's doing something that people like and that we like to do. I wouldn't say he was necessarily a Thomas fan, although he does enjoy the episodes, I won't lie. But yeah, so we watched Blue Mountain Mystery, and I said, do you want to try out this idea I've got, you know, because Calico had his own YouTube channel by this point, and I think he only had like 2 videos on it, and I said it might be something to put on your channel, something to do. And he was reluctant at first, and after some persuading from me, he sort of said, yeah, alright, let's do it. And we did it, we recorded it, we put it up on YouTube, and it just took off, you know. Everyone loved the idea.
Here you go. Just pay me later, yeah?
I'll pay you later.
Oh.
So, where did we all go wrong, Calico?
Well, we started off, well, yeah. We focused too much on the joking side of things, and that's how SteamTeam Quizzes evolved it from a 10-minute show to a 30-minute sitcom.
Yeah, should we have a look at how that happened?
We shall.
Yeah, we might as well, since we're here.
Go on.
When SteamTeam Quizzes started, it started as a very had a sort of rigid structure and rigid formula. You know, we didn't want to go over sort of 10 minutes was our limit. You know, well, we allowed 15, but yeah, it was very just answer the question and yeah, and answer the question, no messing around, just get on with it, sort of thing.
Well, as you can tell from the first season, and I believe the second season and the third season, you know, the first 3 seasons were very quiz orientated. So they were very serious. They were all just kind of based on that sort of answering questions, and then it started to kind of get a little bit looser, where obviously we'd got into the format and we was kind of playing about, and then their jokes started coming in where I started noticing things in the episodes that weren't quite right, and I thought should be changed, and hence that's why I ran for mayor several times. And then obviously SteamTeam brought in his Genesis references, and then the Mad Controller came into it, and that's kind of how it's now got to 30 minutes. It's not really a quiz. It's primarily a quiz, but also it's a debate show of how bad Sodor's run, and kind of taking the mick out of the Fat Controller, buying places willy-nilly because it just wouldn't happen. Obviously it's Jaffa Cakes, and it just kind of expanded from that, and to be honest I think it made it better. Yeah, it's longer, but it's better.
Well, I think it's actually really good now, because like 10 minutes is a bit too short, and 30 minutes is just like really funny. It's just like a load of time to get like all your fun out of you, instead of 10 minutes being too quick.
It certainly makes it a lot more entertaining. I think about the jokes that have been made about the episode when I have people over and I'm just sitting on the couch and I just start laughing, and people look at me going, "What are you laughing at?" And they wouldn't understand it. So every new episode that comes out, I watch it and I have new jokes to annoy people with because they don't know what the joke is. So I really like that. It makes it a lot more entertaining and a lot more fun to watch, and a lot more memorable as well.
I think it's a very good idea that it progressed into a 30-minute, more like a sitcom than a quiz, really. It's mainly a comedy show with some quizzing in it, whereas before it was just a quiz show. It sort of adapted from that, because we started to sort of stray off slightly, and sort of, I think it was about series 3, and people were saying, you know, that it was so funny. We was so funny. I think the first time, yeah, I think the first time someone said that was hilarious was when we did the bucket joke, when the Fat Controller was staring at the bucket, and that was in series 5. But even before that, I was doing little bits and people were saying, you know, that's just really funny. And obviously, you know, me and Calico always like to make people laugh, you know. It's just what we like to do, you know. And yeah, so we sort of relaxed more, and we sort of realised that we can do both. We can do the quiz and make it into like a bit more amusing, really.
Well, to be honest, it doesn't really matter to me how big the quiz is, as long as it's, you know, funny and the questions are alright. I mean, especially if I could answer them myself. So yeah, I think it's a good idea.
And I really love the fact that they switched that up, because everyone loves to laugh, especially when you've had a rough day at school or at doing sports, or I don't know what else, and you come home, you're kind of sad and you wish something would cheer you up, and you see SteamTeam Quizzes episode is out and you're like, oh, this could be funny, and they throw funny jokes at you like, why aren't you normal sized, and go home, and jokes about Jaffa Cakes and the Fat Controller. It's hilarious. I mean, I remember occasionally I would cry because it's so hilarious.
It's a great party, but we're missing one thing.
People?
No, something more important than that. Music! No!
Nice try, but no.
Well, as you, you're not mayor yet, you know, you can't tell me what to do. And as you can tell by that rather predictable little sketch, recurring jokes become a fixture within some shows, and SteamTeam Quizzes is no exception.
Should we find out how some of those skits or sketches came about?
Recurring jokes.
That came from fixtures. Should we find out how that happened?
Yes, we shall.
The recurring jokes. I'll start with the Genesis one because it's my least favourite of all of them. SteamTeam brought that in. For some reason he got infatuated with Phil Collins and Genesis, and he kind of likes to drop them in as kind of a joke to the people that like Genesis. He doesn't quite realise that he's the only one.
Well, I'll start off with my favourite one, the Genesis references. I mean, obviously that's not for everyone, that's more like a personal joke for me, really. I try to at least sneak at least one reference into each quiz, just because I'm a massive Genesis fan. It'd be interesting, actually, to see if anyone's gone on to watch Genesis, you know, to listen to Genesis after that. Because, I mean, that was another reason I did it for. I thought, you know, because, you know, they're an amazing group, they really are. And I'm not one for music, really, I'm not into music, but, you know, I can listen to Genesis on repeat, and, you know, the best thing is there's no two songs the same. You've got really deep songs, and then you've got, like, comedy songs, like Jesus He Knows Me, you know, and, you know, that really appeals to me, and I was sort of thinking, I wonder if I can get anyone else to see if I can create a Genesis fan, you know. So it'd be interesting, actually, to see if anyone has gone on to listen to any of Genesis's music.
And yeah, I have actually got into a bit of Genesis from your references, so bizarrely, it's widened my music horizons as well.
Listening to Genesis and Phil Collins or any type of that music, I'm not really into that kind of music. I'm a southern boy at heart. Got roots down south, and
actually I have once went on. I actually enjoy the singing, and so one of the songs, I can't remember which one it was, but I actually went back, looked up, and listened to the real one, and it sounded just like it.
I have hated both those artists all my life, and I always will.
Oh, me running for mayor. Well, that's kind of it, really. That's the I'm running for mayor, mainly for things that I have that I have found wrong with Sodor, such as the poor repair job on Bulge's Bridge. It's just, you just wouldn't do that. It does cut costs, but someone stealing BT telephone lines on the back of a van, and I think I ran for mayor for that particular reason, to eradicate crime. There's lots of other ones I've done for some reason or another.
Calico running for mayor is probably one of the most well-known recurring jokes, but that's one that's, I think we took it as far as we could, and I think it ended with Calico running for Prime Minister. I can't really remember, but yeah, that one was Calico. He used to see things in the episode that he didn't agree with. He thinks, like, why should Mrs. Kindly be given a red flag? You know, who's give her this flag to use, you know? Surely that's against regulations. And if I was mayor, you know, yeah, that one, that was a very spur of the moment thing, you know. It started like that, and people sort of responded to it, so we carried it on. But like I said, I think we took that as far as it could go on, and for now, it's been retired, that one. You know, we haven't made a Calico running for mayor joke since Series 6, I don't think. We're in Series 8 now. We're just finishing Series 8 when I'm recording this. Because we film and re-record in advance, of course. But yeah, that's one that's been retired for the time being. Will it come back? Yeah, probably. But for now, that one's gone.
The Mad Controller. Well, that actually stemmed from, was it the Yorkshire Thrill Seekers? I believe it was, jumping off of the bridge when they were mending it. The one that Duncan got stuck on. Yeah, that kind of stemmed from that and Jaffa Cakes, and obviously because Sir Topham Hatt, or the Fat Controller, is Yorkshire, so then he kind of adopted it. And obviously we started picking up on that he just kind of claims random buildings without any kind of deeds passed or money given. In one episode he brought a mine and a castle in one thing. He went to view the castle, decided he's going to buy that, and then went to see the mine. Yeah, it's just the way he likes. It's just what he likes to do, I suppose. And one of them, he found a abandoned house that we said he's going to turn into a bed and breakfast and sell crumpets and stuff. Another one, it just goes on, and they kind of stayed because we enjoyed doing them, and they got a lot of response from you guys, really.
Well, it seems that Calico and SteamTeam had come up with, unique ideas to make us laugh. So that way, they had become more of a comic duo than just two best friends, to be honest.
I love some of the reoccurring jokes. I mean, they're so funny. Like, I loved the one about the fireman of the Northwest Railway singing, and Calico for Mayor is amazing. I also like the new one about Calico being Prime Minister, because he's just amazing at everything. I would really support Calico, even though I know it's fake.
It's much like a soap opera, really. There's certain things which you come back week after week to watch, and they're going to be in there. You come back week after week, there'll be Genesis joke somewhere. You'll know there'll be a the Fat Controller peeping in the window of his binoculars somewhere. There'll be something to do with the Jaffa Cakes. It's always something.
Yeah, I think these are actually pretty funny. Well, the Genesis songs, not a bit really, but I do get them. They're just really not that funny. Well, Running for Mayor, that's pretty funny, but the Fat Controller, I watch these late at night because I keep forgetting to watch them, and I got in trouble for laughing too much because of the Mad Controller. That's how funny they are. It's just...
Well, I love the jokes of the Mad Controller, such as, "Hello, Duncan. Go home. Come here, you." And they just make me laugh, and
But I do love the Calico running for mayor jokes, because if Sodor was a real place, and in the current state the show is in now, I think Calico would make an excellent mayor for Sodor. He would turn it back into the great island that it used to be before 2004. And the Mad Controller jokes are just so hilarious. I literally fall down laughing every time I see it. It's just so funny, the things that SteamTeam and Calico will come up with to make the Fat Controller look like a lunatic, like build an office in random places, and just any other stupid things, like giving Mrs. Kindly her own red flag.
You may have had a point earlier.
What, about something or other?
Yeah, about the party not being complete without music.
Alright, can I bring up the radio again?
No. But what we do have is a nice little segment called, of music, entitled Bottom of the Pops.
I wonder what that's about.
Yeah. Do you know what? I feel bad about cutting you off earlier.
Oh.
Do you want to sing us a little song?
Oh, I'd love to. The Lamb Lies Down on Broadway by Genesis, covered by me.
I think Invisible Touch was the first one we sang, and that was very spontaneous.
She's got this built-in ability,
Dun, 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 dun.
something you just can't see.
And now it seems I've fallen for her. She seems to have an invisible touch. Yeah. She seems to have an invisible touch. She seems to have an invisible touch. Yeah. She seems to have an invisible touch. She seems to have... Yeah, we get the idea with that.
I think I started singing it, and obviously SteamTeam is my backing vocalist. and he obviously has the final say. So he gets to put it in. Obviously he would, because it's a Genesis song.
Yeah, occasionally we do break into song. That's that always amuses me. It started off, well, it still is now. You know, whenever we start singing, it's just because we've got to stop recording for some reason. Usually it's some background noise like my sister or the nice cream van, or you know, we got to wait for that to die down. So while we're just sat there, we just usually start singing. You know, and that is spur of the moment. I mean, that's not planned at all. None of the singing is planned. Yeah, we just start singing for something because we're bored. Basically, we can't carry on recording, so let's sing Invisible Touch. That was the first song we did. That was funny. That was. See, I like the singing because, and I think, I don't know whether you'll agree to me. It'd be good to get your opinions on this, but I think that individually, neither me or Calico can sing at all. We are both crap singers. I mean, we've never done it before, really. You know, we've never sung. We've only messed around, like singing. You know, like when we've got music on or something. But I think, and Calico will argue against this completely. But I think when we put our voices together, we sound pretty good. And that sounds big-headed, but it was like, when we sang Invisible Touch, that when we was actually sat there singing it, you know, obviously we knew there was no chance of it getting into the final cut. It'd just be edited out. But then when I heard it back, and I thought, oh, hang on, that's not bad. It's not good, but it's not bad. It's quite good. You know, how we're able to sing together, and I thought that doesn't sound too bad. So yeah, I put it on the end credits, and yeah. I don't think it's too bad, but like I said, I'd like to get your views on that. maybe we can start a career in singing.
Oh my god. Just funny as heck. Just funny as heck.
Well, the only one I can use for most people singing in your own is it's unique, and that's a good thing. As for listening to the real versions of the songs, I do remember after hearing you two sing Sledgehammer, I went and searched up the real thing. I don't know why, it was just, when you started singing it, it reminded me of watching a clip of it, I think, in some documentary about Nick Park. Coincidence? I think not.
I do love SteamTeam and Calico singing. It hasn't really made me hasn't encouraged me to go on to listen to anything else. I think that, you know, it would just ruin the magic of the song, really. I mean, Calico and SteamTeam do such a good job singing it that I think anyone else singing it would just be, it wouldn't be the same, you know. I mean, no one's going to better that level of music talent. It's never going to be done.
And I think you got a few good comments on our singing, so we sang something that I kind of liked, which is Sledgehammer by Peter Gabriel. Well, we both like that one, in all fairness. So we sang that one as well, and I think that got in.
Yeah, but you made it obvious now, so we can't put that in.
I like to go at these jokes, you know, like a sledgehammer.
Like a Neanderthal.
Like a sledgehammer.
Sledgehammer.
Call my name.
I wanna be
your sledgehammer.
How'd you be my testimony?
Sledgehammer. I can be a steam train
if you just lay down your tracks. I can be an aeroplane flying.
Something or other.
Bicycle legs or something.
Yeah, bicycle.
I wanna be
your sledgehammer.
What you call my name? I wanna be
your sledgehammer.
Won't you be my testimony?
We did Call Me Al, but that got cut because we sung 2 songs in one quiz and we didn't have time to put both songs in. Call Me Al was by Paul Simon. Very good song, but yeah, like I said, I put it on Twitter. Would you like us to sing Sledgehammer over the end credits or Call Me Al? And Sledgehammer won, so yeah. I don't really know the lyrics to that, to be honest. Man walks down the street, he says,
"What am I doing here?
Where are my wife and family? Now that my son is gone. Backed up down the alley with some roly-poly little bat-faced girl. All alone, alone, there'll be incidents and accidents. This stuff doesn't amuse me anymore. If you'll be my bodyguard, I can be your long-lost pal. You can call me Betty, and Betty when you call me, you can call me Al. Call me Al.
Your singing voice are absolutely okay. Like, I wanna be your sledgehammer, that type of singing voice. It's kind of good. It's really nice to hear you sing that. This is very unusual for you to do this.
You guys are good.
Very good. Yeah, you're really good singers, you two. You rock.
Well, how you both sing is, well, it's very, crazy, really. Because you guys just sing really crazy, and sometimes I do laugh a lot, but then if I watch it all over again, it gets pretty boring. But yeah, you guys are alright, but a bit crazy at singing, and you should improve your voice, really.
People often ask me, what's your favourite joke that got cut?
Who's ever asked you that?
Chris.
Chris has asked you, what's your favourite joke that ever got cut?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Well, we can soon settle this, can't we?
Well, sure we can.
Go on Twitter. He's probably on there. Unless he's gone out shopping, you know.
He does that, doesn't he?
He goes out shopping at night, yeah.
Debenhams, isn't it?
I don't know, to be honest. I wouldn't like to ask him. You know, with his dirty mind, you know where he's going to be, do you? Probably in Ann Summers.
All the possibilities.
Anyway, I've sent it. Just got to wait for a reply now.
Might take a while.
It might do, but this is television, so it might not.
That's what you call it.
Yeah, I call it more of a shambles. But
amateur videos.
he must be out.
It's going to be a while, isn't it?
Yeah. So, where are you going for your holidays? Decided yet?
Yeah, we're going there next week.
Oh.
I won't give away the location because I know my mad fans will be waiting there for me.
Oh yeah, you know.
I'm kind of the Justin Bieber of the Thomas community, so. No,
except you can sing.
And I'm not a complete bugger. So don't worry, I won't spit on you.
Wow.
Much. Has he got a notification yet?
No. This card's completely blank. I think they'd write a message there, wouldn't you?
This is terrible. Anyway, I'm going to go for a wee, and I'll be back in a minute.
I can feel it coming.
I'm not engaging in this.
Bing! You imitating sound effects isn't going to make it come through any quicker. Hello? That's the wrong number. Phone's not even on. I think he's foreign. Finally!
That was quick.
You don't have to stick to the original script when we've
right.
adapted it.
Right, okay. I was being ironic.
Ah, okay. You should have pointed that out.
No, yeah, okay, that's right.
Twitter apps. froze now.
Well, again.
Yeah.
I suppose I even got it on there, to be honest.
I haven't. That's why it's frozen. That's why it's not working. Ah, there we go. I've never liked Calico. I can't stand him. SteamTeam Quizzes with his jolly nature and quick wit.
You said all that?
Yep.
In one tweet?
Yep.
Let me take a look.
No. You've let yourself down, you've let me down, you've let everyone at home down, and most of all, you've let yourself down. Go on, stand over there. Go over there.
I hate you.
Just ignore him, you need to ignore these people. Oi! Watch it! Right. So you need to... See, the trouble is with... So, we're going to take a look at some of our favourite jokes that have got cut over the years. Pack it in! We're going to take a look at jokes that have been... Ow!
Stick!
Right, that's it. You're not too old to go over my knee, young man. Come here.
So, jokes that have been cut, they've been cut for a reason. Mostly because of time, and they weren't that funny. But then a lot of them were kind of a bit rude and nasty towards certain groups of people. Mainly Americans.
The joke that sticks out in my mind, and I know for a fact this will be Calico's favourite joke that's been cut. It was hilarious at the time. Basically, it's Britt Allcroft trying to pitch Series 5 in America, and the Americans, because they do have a tendency, as me and Calico reckon, to dumb down the titles. You know, just they have to be so obvious sometimes. Yeah, and we there was one. It was a surprise for Percy, and I did this really over the top sort of Texan accent, and it was Britt got in to see this Texan to pitch the series, and he was sort of picking faults in the episode titles, but mainly a surprise for Percy, because that's called a big surprise for Percy in America. Percy wants a surprise in the next episode.
He does, doesn't he?
Do you know what it's called?
A surprise for Percy?
Yeah, but in America it's called a big surprise for Percy. Just picture the scene, if you will. A boardroom in America, yeah. And there's Britt Allcroft in there.
I'm there already.
Pitching the series. There's episode, or whatever episode this number is. What was that called? And that's a big surprise. That's a surprise for Percy. A surprise for Percy? That's not very clear now, is it?
Is it small? Is it big?
Well, I don't... What kind of surprise? well, is it big? Is it small? Well, it's big, I suppose. Well, why don't you call it that, for gosh darn sake? It's a big surprise.
We can't understand it if you just say surprise. We'll be thinking all the way through what kind of surprise.
It's a big surprise. You didn't let the viewers know this.
Okay. Obviously, they're pitching to some kind of Texan or something. Yeah.
Otherwise, it's a company it takes in has been knocked on the head recently.
Oh.
That was hilarious. Calico turned red. He was in absolute hysterics. He was almost on the floor. Moments like this, they'll never come out. But that one was cut because we thought we'd had some comments saying that we were being offensive to Americans before that went out, and we decided, I sort of emailed Calico, I said, what do you want to do? Do you want to put it in or not? And we sort of talked about it by email or Skype, is it, or something. And he said, yeah, probably best to cut it. And he really didn't want to cut it, and neither did I. But
the Yorkshire, the big Texan, rich Texan, was kind of the funniest one. usually the other ones kind of go from your mind because they weren't that funny, or they were too rude. That's kind of why. But no, I'm sure, hopefully you'll get to listen to a bit of this Texan.
It's probably a good thing, actually, in hindsight, that it was cut, because the week it's due to go out, that episode, there was a massive explosion in Texas which killed a lot of people, and it may have been a little bit insensitive. Again, I'm not usually worried by that sort of thing, because you know, my attitude is how did we know that was going to happen? You know, because like I said, we film in edit way in advance usually. So yeah, you know, I'd just say, well, we didn't know, did we? But yeah, but then that combined with the fact that we had comments sort of saying that we were being offensive, sort of meant that we didn't put it in. So now it's time to see what you, the fans, think of our quizzes.
Just pay it and see them.
I like SteamTeam Quizzes because it's just so funny and everything, and it's just SteamTeam and Calico just being mad, really.
I like SteamTeam Quizzes because it is something, as I said earlier on, it's just totally different from anything else that's ever been put on YouTube before. It's really fun, it's good, it sort of made me go back and watch older Thomas episodes as well. There's things that you point out in the quizzes which I've never noticed before. It's very funny, and it's just something different, you know. It's made by good friends of mine. It's just a really fun show.
Now, the reason I like about SteamTeam Quizzes is because just when I get bored, I decided to, you know, to have a think to myself, and hey, why not watch a single episode, you know, just for some laughs, you know? And coincidentally, that had made me laugh, you know, just quite so. And you know, as I said, it does have pretty unique jokes to laugh at, particularly references of Genesis, Jaffa cakes, and not to mention, go home, go home. Well, I'm not good at this, but I'm sure they'll get it, you know. It is pretty good one, you know. So keep it up.
They're funny, they're entertaining. I got my little cousin to watch these, and he loves them, probably because he's a big fan of Thomas the Tank Engine. And these are entertaining. I got these a couple of years ago, but then I started dying off a bit because they got a bit boring. But now I'm starting to got more into them because they're fun and entertaining. And since the contests I keep entering the competitions they order, and I keep losing, of course. But still good enough.
And it's a unique idea. It's not been done before, and it's quite enjoyable just to have it on the background if, say, I'm on a wiki or a blog or thinking of plans for future episodes, and obviously if I know the answer, which in most cases I do, not bragging of course, I'll answer aloud and see if I got it right. And of course nowadays I do tune in a lot more to see what sort of things you two make up. Jokes wise, of course, not the questions.
With the two main reasons is how it was written and the editing. But I also like the humour and how you guys extended it from a 10-minute quiz to a 30-minute, as you call it, comedy show. And I really did like that. And that's what made me watch it a lot. And I hope to expect more for the Series 8 SteamTeam Quizzes, and they're calling all engines SteamTeam Quizzes. I can't wait for that.
Also, the comedy aspect to the show is so good. I cannot wait to watch the next episode. After I'm done watching an episode, I always have to go back and watch it again or a previous episode because it gets my daily fill of laughter, because all their comedy material is really good. Like, for instance, Calico running for mayor, the Mad Controller with his Jaffa Cakes, and a lot more stuff that keeps me laughing every time a SteamTeam quiz is uploaded, and that's why I really like the show.
To be honest, I have no idea why it's so popular. It's just something that no one else has ever done, even though it's such an obvious kind of thing to do. Because everybody in the community, I'm assuming, knows a lot about Thomas. Otherwise, you wouldn't be in the community. I'm kind of in it because, well, I'm learning about it, and I don't know. I think it just kind of, a quiz always gets people kind of involved, because people always want to answer questions about something they know or something they like. So obviously SteamTeam Quizzes has done that for you, and obviously as it's gone on, we've then mixed in the comedy to make you laugh as well. So it kind of, instead of just a boring quiz because you wouldn't grab your attention, but with that comedy side that me and SteamTeam have introduced into it, has made it the whole complete thing a lot better. It drags your attention in and holds your attention, because yeah, you answer a question but then you're listening to what we think of and some comments that I've come up with whilst watching it. Obviously all you guys probably know a lot of the things that I've spotted, but then a lot of them you haven't kind of thought about in the way that I have, because I have been described as a one-of-a-kind mind. So every now and then you need a change.
Look, is this a stab at my hygiene again? I told you earlier, I'm only wearing the same clothes as I did last week because the washing machine's packed up.
I was talking about the SteamTeam special editions, but... So, shall we see how they come about? But, on a serious note, are you going to change for next week, or are you just going to be wearing the same thing again?
Great stuff, Calico. The special editions came to be because I was worried that we were firing through the Thomas series so quickly that we needed to sort of break it up a little bit more, and it was also, yeah, so I basically said to Calico, you know, how about we do other shows? And Calico again wasn't too enthusiastic. He never really is, but I think then he saw the opportunity to sort of go back to his childhood and watch shows that he hasn't watched in years, you know, and it gives us a whole new, it opens a whole new door for us to be funny and stupid about another, you know, because there's only so many things you can comment on Sodor, you know, before it does start to get repetitive. But yeah, you know, if you cover different shows all the time, it's never going to get boring, is it?
But also to kind of, like, not just the English, obviously we watch it, but we got a lot of American viewers, and it's to kind of introduce them to the shows that we kind of watch here in England, and obviously other people introduce them to the shows that we watched as children. So it's kind of that basis, those three things, kind of just getting everybody into new shows, because kind of remembering from your childhood. I know a lot of people have said, oh, I used to watch this as a kid. Yeah, so that's why it's there, just to kind of break up the Thomas, because we feel that if there's too much of Thomas, it will get boring.
I enjoyed the special edition quizzes. I thought they were as good as the usual SteamTeam quizzes, but I guess I'm not really a fan of what they're being quizzed on. I'm just a Thomas fan, really, and Thomas is all I really enjoy out of the children's shows, really. Other than that, I'm into bigger shows. Guess it's just Thomas that I like. But the special edition quizzes are still really good, and I'd like to see more of them.
I think the special editions are very interesting. It's an interesting idea to quiz on something that isn't Thomas the Tank Engine. And the shows they choose are pretty interesting, whether it be Bob the Builder, Fireman Sam, Postman Pat, Danger Mouse, Shining Time Station, and all that stuff. And they haven't really encouraged me to watch any of those children's shows afterwards, because most of the shows that were featured I've already watched, like Tom and Jerry, Bob the Builder, Postman Pat, Fireman Sam, Danger Mouse, all that stuff.
I'm really glad you're doing a quiz show, not on just Thomas and Friends, but on 5 different shows. And so yeah,
I like the special edition ones, especially when they got shows that I used to watch when I was little, like Fireman Sam, Bob the Builder, Postman Pat. We haven't had Noddy yet. I'm going to try and get him in there one day. So yeah, I do like the special editions.
Special editions, it's actually really good because you get a bit more than Thomas in it. It kind of encourages people to go and see the other one, so then they can then start enjoying that.
Well, the special editions are good, but sadly they never really encourage me to view other television shows besides Thomas the Tank Engine. I mean, I have been watching a few, well, Bob the Builder episodes because, well, I just watch it for fun.
We've had a lot of jokes today. We've had a couple of jokes today. But if you take all the joking aside, then I think it's plain to see that we have a certain chemistry that drives a lot of the humour. SteamTeam Quizzes may be the name of the show, but it's this guy here, my long-term friend. This guy means a hell of a lot to me, this guy does, and without him I'd been bored stiff, and he's always been there for me. I bet he feels exactly the same way, don't you?
You're alright.
Really? That's it?
Yeah.
I give you a heartfelt speech and that's what I get back.
Yeah.
You're a complete and utter. I'm done with this. Get this camera out of my face. You're a complete. Do it, you foul.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Calico Twitty.
See the sparkling little diamond on your hand. It's plain to see that you already got a man. I could tell you're not about to fall for any of my lines. I see the want to in your eyes. In your smile, there's a quiet, soft desire, like the embers of a once raging fire. You know I could light that fire again. You know it isn't wise. I see the want to in your eyes.
How do I sum up my friendship with Calico? Well, I love him to bits, but sometimes I just want to strangle him, would be the best way to put it.
Back in the day when I lived there, round here, SteamTeam was friends with my sister, and we started off, I can't remember what it was, we used to play cars and pretend, obviously like you do when you're little, when you're younger, vivid imaginations we used to have. And then I kind of joined in, and that's how we got to be friends, and we did lots of other different things, and then it started with all the filming, because we used to do a lot of different little projects we used to have. So SteamTeam was pretty much had a camera in his hand since he was born.
You know, and to have that such a close friendship with someone is absolutely paramount to the quiz, I think, because you know we understand each other, we're able to bounce off each other, not literally, but you know what I mean. You know, I know exactly what he's going to say, and I know exactly what he will find funny, and I do things to make him laugh, and he knows what I'll find funny, he does things to make me laugh, and we're able to sort of finish each other's jokes, you know, like someone will start a joke, and then we'll carry it on, and we'll carry it on, and then, yeah, it probably does get out of hand, but...
but yeah, that kind of helps, and I imagine a lot of you do notice that it wouldn't be as funny if it was two strangers in doing it, because it wouldn't be as funny. But it does help a lot having a good friendship, and having the same kind of qualities in the comedy sort of side of it does help a very lot. Because then if one of us will start a joke, the other one will carry it on, then it go carried on a bit more, and then one of us will end it with something completely stupid, and then a lot of it, and then it will be cut, all the laughing, because we're probably laughing for about 2 minutes after the joke. That's just the way it is, and it's just fun. It does make it a lot more fun. If I was sat in a room doing it with a complete stranger, it'd just be boring. So the main thing is that we have fun while we're doing it, so it sounds fun when you listen to it in the end. And doing that with a friend, well, a best friend, helps out tremendously.
So yeah, it's very, very important to have such a, close friendship in SteamTeam Quizzes, I think. So there we have it, a look back at our first year. Here's hoping we're back here next year doing the 2nd anniversary.
Yes, and from both of us, we'd just like to say thank you for every comment, view, like and favourite, and just keep it going because you're what keeps the SteamTeam Quizzes coming.
Indeed. So, I'd like to say let's all charge our glasses and wish SteamTeam Quizzes a very happy anniversary.
Well, there you go, it's good to be £100.
What?
You said charge my glass.
Just pick it up. Right, like that. Round here. Right, now. Ready?
Hey!
Yay, got it right. So from me, bye-bye everybody. Bye-bye. It's awful. And from Calico, it's...
party time!
Paper laid. Oh, I'm sorry, but there's no one on. Wrong tape.
Happy birthday, SteamTeam Quizzes! I'm a coffee here, and I'll see you in my videos, particularly in Thomas of Friends Series 17 episode reviews.
Happy birthday, SteamTeam Quizzes. If I had Jaffa cakes to send to you, I would, but I'm very mean and won't give you any Jaffa cake.
I'd like to say happy birthday to SteamTeam Quizzes. You are a brilliant show for all of us. Thank you, SteamTeam and Calico.
But keep up the good work, you two. You're just amazing people. You brighten up my day. You entertain me all the way through the day.
Happy birthday, SteamTeam Quizzes. Hope for another year of fantastic questions, hilariousness, and Calico, you'd be a wonderful mayor.
Happy birthday, SteamTeam Quizzes, and live long.
I can feel it.
Just that down, just concentrate. People ask us all the time. What's your favourite joke? People ask us all the time.
Well, SteamTeam Quizzes, it's been a year and you've failed to disappoint me, so happy birthday and may you keep on going as strong as you are and as funny.
Happy 1 year anniversary SteamTeam Quizzes from LG7612. All of us, whatever you feel is appropriate. Right, let's go. Birthday message. Happy birthday SteamTeam Quizzes. Since its launch, it's been one of my favourite shows on YouTube, if not my favourite. The comedy is brilliant, and I wish it many more happy years of it airing. So happy birthday SteamTeam Quizzes, and thank you for being a brilliant show.
Oh God, I'm trapped in there. Someone help me. You have to run it, didn't you? Goddamn pepperetti. Ah! Oh, I've had enough.
Alright.
Yes.
I'd say funny and awesome.
Hello SteamTeam and Calico, it is KnapfordProductions, wishing you guys a happy 1st anniversary of SteamTeam Quizzes. I think you guys are doing a phenomenal job with the show, and let's hope many years to come for the series. Also, I'm still in shell shock for me winning Series 7, and I want to thank you guys for letting me win. I know it's just luck, but I hope you guys have a wonderful anniversary.
I'd like to wish you a happy birthday on SteamTeam Quizzes. I enjoyed your quizzes and I hope to see more in the future.
What are you doing? It didn't work.
I took the white bit of card out underneath it.
Oh.
So we've already that in.
Alright, so spray it so the camera... It kind of worked. Yeah, that's the best way to say it. It puts some of that on.
Decoration.
On the show, when happy are you going to do that?
This is for the behind the scenes video. Look at the way I'm treated, dude. Is it any wonder? Like an old man.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear SteamTeam Quizzes. Happy birthday to you.